Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know, my name is Anna. Come in, stay a while, and let's get started with a fun video. Feel free to like this video and also subscribe for more content just like this. So today I am talking about something near and dear to my heart. I'm talking about Bookstagram. What is it, in case you don't know? So obviously you know what Instagram is, the social media platform, and on Instagram there are a ton of different communities. Big ones that are prevalent are definitely the fashion community is really big, as well as the makeup community is a huge one that is very prevalent on Instagram. Maybe something you don't know is there's also a smaller community called Bookstagram. It's a community of people who really enjoy books and bookish things and like to post and talk about them. So some of the things I do in my life, I am a full-time student. I'm a college student, obviously. I also work at a library, so books, you could tell. I'm an English creative writing major, so I do a lot with books, and I am also a manager at the college library. So books are a lot of things I do, but what I also do, I like making YouTube videos, obviously, but something else that I do is I am a bookstagrammer. So this past year, we obviously had COVID. We still do. We're still in a pandemic. And everyone was shipped home from school, and I was really bored. I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I decided to finally create a Bookstagram. So I've had Bookstagram for 5 months now. Maybe going on 6. I started in April. It's now middle of September, and I have since been able to grow my following quite a bit in just 5 months. So what I want to do is come here and tell all of you who are interested in being a Bookstagrammer and joining the community how you can grow your Bookstagram and really create something amazing out of it. So I've been on there for 5 months now, like I said, and I currently have about 1,050 followers. So that's pretty good, I'd say. That's a pretty successful Bookstagrammer. Bookstagram is a smaller community, so oftentimes you don't see Bookstagrammers with hundreds of thousands of followers. I think the largest I have seen is 20,000. That's a really big Bookstagrammer, but a lot of times Bookstagrammers tend to have between like 1,000 to 8,000 followers in general. Those are considered successful and big Bookstagrammers. So obviously it is a smaller community, but there's still a lot of people on there. So how do you make your page stand out? How do you grow your following? And how best to get likes and such on your pictures. So that's what I'm going to talk about. First and foremost, if you want to be a Bookstagrammer, you have to do it. You have to just start. You can have multiple Instagram accounts on your app. Like having the app, you can open multiple Instagram accounts at a time. So you can have your personal account and then you can make a Bookstagram account. So do it. Just do it. Whatever, if you're like nervous for some odd reason, or you're like, oh, I'm not going to be good at this, like, you'll be fine. Trust me, you'll be fine. You'll have a good time. So just do it. So as you're making your account, probably the best thing to do is create a name that's going to stand out, and that's going to let people know you are a Bookstagrammer, because that is the most important thing. Your name is going to be with you for a long time, and it's what people are first going to see when they look at your account. What is your name? So mine is Books to Anna. I'm talking about books, and my name is Anna. It's a very good name. Having something like books, reading, bookshelf, those words, those keywords in your name is very important. It lets people know, okay, this is a Bookstagram page. This is going to talk about books. I also recommend having your name in there. It's not necessary, but it is easy to have your name in there, and it is nice for your followers to kind of know a little bit of your personality, who you are, because obviously, yes, you post a lot about books. You're not usually posting pictures of yourself on your Bookstagram account, so it's nice to have a name so that people know who you are and they feel a little bit more of a personal connection. So keep that in mind. If you can fit your name in there in any way, definitely do so. So now you've created a username that fits you, fits what you're going to talk about. Now it's time for a profile picture. So for your profile picture, I recommend not just putting a picture of your face on there. I recommend having a picture that is related to Bookstagram. So you could have a picture of you reading a book. That's definitely a good one. You in front of bookshelves. I definitely try and recommend having, books in there. My profile picture currently is this one. It is a picture of me reading. It doesn't show my face, mainly because I didn't want to put my face on there. I didn't want my face to be very prevalent. I wanted this to be more about books, but there I am in this picture. So I recommend having something that's related to Bookstagram. A lot of people also make kind of cartoon or avatars of themselves and put that as their Bookstagram account. I've seen that a lot. I've also seen logos. If you plan on making this like a blog or a business type of Instagram, having a logo definitely is something you can do. So you've got your picture, perfect. Now your bio, definitely have your name in your bio, because if someone wants to contact you, an author or a book company, they want to know how to address you. They want to know your name. Your followers also want to know your name because they want to feel like, yes, they're interacting with books, they're talking about books, but they also want to know who they're interacting with. So feel free to put your name, your pronouns on there so people know who you are and how to address you. So now that you got that done, what your bio should say about you. What I kind of put down the types of books I focus on. So I am a big romance reader. That tends to be what I read. I read a lot of new adult. I don't read YA. It just feels too young for me. So I put down, like, I read romance, I like sci-fi, I like fantasy, and I mainly read new adult. So I put that in my bio so people know what kind of books I plan on talking about. So that's important. Like, if you want to be strictly a literature, like you like classics, that's kind of what you focus on. If you're someone who's like, I am hardcore fantasy, put that in your bio so people kind of know what you are reading and what they can find on your page. Because obviously you want to follow people who are similar to you and who read similar things, obviously, because that's how you're going to find recommendations for books you like. So make sure you put that in there. You can also put like an email if you're like, contact me by this email. I definitely recommend having a link in your profile. Like if you are connecting this to a blog, a website, have that website there. You can make a link tree, which is a link that has multiple links attached to it. So if you're someone who has a Bookstagram, but maybe you also have a BookTube, you can link them together so people can find you on other platforms. So that's important to have. You could also let people know that you are open to ARCs. You're open to reading requests, so authors can send you stuff. You could put that you are okay with people tagging you and stuff. You could be like, please feel free to tag me in book related things, stuff like that. So definitely make your profile fit what you are about and what your Bookstagram is going to be about. Now you have all the basics out of the way. Now you get to start the picture taking, the interaction, and building your Bookstagram. So obviously, one of the most important things with Bookstagram, I have to say, is consistency, consistency, consistency. You have to stay on top of it. You have to post a lot. Like, I hate to say it, but if you want to keep your profile growing, if you want to keep active, you want people to interact with you, you have to post a lot. I recommend posting at least twice to maybe 3 times a week. And you're like, maybe I can't read that many books a week. I get it. Because a lot of times you're posting about the books you're reading, you're giving reviews, you're recommending things, but that's not all Bookstagram does. You can have filler photos. So you could do, for example, book stacks, okay? So these are a few book stacks that I have on my page right now. What are book stacks? They're kind of like, you could do romance book stack where you have like a really cute photo of a bunch of romantic books. You can do by color. That's a big one, having multiple colored book stacks. They have challenges, like there's a write your name in titles book stack where you have to, you know, lay your books and the first letter of each title is your name. You know, there's different stuff like that that you can do to use as filler photos when you're like, I might only read 1 to 2 books a week. I don't have enough to post 3 reviews a week. And that's totally fine. So you can do multiple different things. It doesn't necessarily have to be just book reviews, obviously. But posting multiple times a week is very important. It shows that you are active. You are active in the community, and whoever follows you will get content from you on a regular basis. So do that. To help with consistency, I recommend doing book photo shoots. So when you plan on taking nice pictures of a book you are currently reading or reviewing, I recommend when you have that camera, when you have your camera out, you have your books out, take multiple pictures in a day so that you have a backup, like have a plan, have multiple photos ready so you're not like, oh, I haven't posted today, I have to create a cute book photo, and you're like, I don't know if I have time for that. If you have a day where you can just take a bunch of book pictures and have them ready for later use, I definitely recommend that. It'll be so helpful to keeping you on track. That's what I do. If I plan on doing a book photo shoot for one book, I'm doing it for a lot in one day. I'm like, I have my camera out, I have the books out, pulled off the shelf. I'm gonna do a ton of different books in one day. So other than consistency, some big things, some people really like to do aesthetics for their Bookstagram. They like to keep to aesthetic, maybe a color scheme. Maybe they're like, I want my books to be, my pictures to be very naturistic, so they're using things like flowers and sticks and they're outside. You know, maybe you're like, I want all my pictures to be in black and white. I don't know. You can do that. If you plan on having an aesthetic, make sure it's one you can do with a ton of different books and it's something that you can keep up with. I personally do not have an aesthetic, and it hasn't hindered me in any way. I know some people are like, I really like aesthetic, you know, Bookstagrams where their whole feed is like very similar pictures. You know, they all look very similar. It looks very neat and tidy. That's just not me. I can't do that because I am someone who, when I am taking a picture, if I have a book, I like to mimic the book cover. I like to do things that are related to the book, and obviously not every single book cover is the same. Not every single book is gonna work well in an aesthetic, but that is up to you. You don't have to do one. You can still have, you know, a non-aesthetic book feed and do very well. If you want an aesthetic, start from the beginning. Make sure you have that ready to go and you can do that. So other than book aesthetics, what is something important to creating a good account? When you are starting, even Bookstagrammers who are big and successful, I see them still, you need to hashtag your posts. Like, I hate to say it, some people are like, hashtags aren't classy. You need to do it. Like, I'm sorry, but fill up your picture full of hashtags. You know, you write your review, you write your description, and then way at the bottom, just fill it with hashtags. Okay, like that is super important. Find hashtags that work well in the book community. So I always have, for example, you know, I have like hashtag Bookstagram, hashtag Bookstagrammer, you know, if the book is fantasy, I put hashtag fantasy or hashtag romance or hashtag sci-fi, hashtag dark romance. If you're doing a colorful book stack, you can do like hashtag red or hashtag purple, you know, whatever color book stack you're doing. You could do hashtag readers of Instagram is a big one, hashtag book blogger, hashtag creative blogger. You know, those are just some examples, and I'll also put some other big ones up on the screen here so you can see them, but hashtag your pictures. Like, even if you're like, hashtags aren't classy, you know, I always thought that, like, I wouldn't hashtag any of my personal pictures on my personal Instagram, but this is kind of different. You want to make sure your pictures are getting out there and viewed, and that is the way to do it. You gotta hashtag your pictures. You know, Instagram lets you hashtag 30 times on a post, so you get 30 hashtags for one post. Fill it up, completely fill it up, you know, with relatable hashtags, and that will definitely help you get your pictures, your photos viewed a lot more than if you don't hashtag them. So when you are brand new, if someone follows you, follow them back. That's the best way to get followers as you're starting. You know, follow a ton of accounts, follow a ton of small accounts, and follow people back, because, you know, that's how you're gonna gain followers faster, especially when you're small. You know, once you get like bigger, you know, over 1,000, maybe you can stop doing that, but definitely follow people. You know, that's the easiest way to do it. Also, interact on people's photos, comments, you know, comment on people's photos, tell them you like them, tell them you like their feed, you like their picture. Oh, you've read that book, I've read that book, I really love it. Mention people in your story, you know, share feeds. That's a big thing. Follow other Bookstagrammers leads. If you see other Bookstagrammers, maybe they do Follow Friday, where they are suggesting accounts to follow on their story on Fridays. Do something similar. Find accounts you really like, screenshot their profile, and like post it and be like, you should follow these people. They will really like that, and they probably will suggest following you back to their followers. So that's huge. Make sure you are doing that. You know, make friends with other Bookstagrammers. You know, comment on their photos. Feel free to send them DMs. You know, you're like, I really like your account, just saying. You know, and that is great at building relationships. That's all what Bookstagram is about. People want to follow and interact with you when they know you're going to interact back. So make sure you interact, obviously, is the biggest thing I can say. So what next? What else can you do to grow your following? A big thing on Instagram, as I'm sure you'll see once you join the community, there are book engagement accounts. So what that does is they're usually private accounts. You usually have to send a DM or a request to join. But what you do is, once you are accepted into this group, you tag this engagement group in your photos. So these people who are on this group also are all required to like your pictures. You know, you would go to tagged photos under this engagement group, and there are a ton of accounts who tag their photos, and you go through every week and you like these photos to make sure you are participating in this group. But what this does for you is the more likes you have on your account, the more views you have on your account, the more likely Instagram is going to put them on other people's feeds. They're like, oh, I see this post is doing well. Other people who like similar things might like this, and they might put it on someone else's feed. So it's all about the algorithm. You know, the more people save your photos, so you take really nice photos and people are saving it because they really like it, the more people are going to see that, because Instagram sees that people are interacting and really like this photo. So joining one of those groups is an amazing thing to do, and you can join multiple. The only thing you have to remember is you have to keep up with them. You are obligated to like people's pictures who tag that group. So you have to make sure that you can remember to like these pictures, and you're not going to fall behind. Otherwise, you will get kicked out of the group. I hate to say it, but you will. But that's a great way, especially when you're really small, to start helping your engagement, help build a following and a consistent amount of likes on your photos. And in turn, you know, eventually, if you want to, you can leave that engagement group once you have enough following, once you think your photos will naturally do well on the Instagram algorithm. So that's another way you can do it. Some people would be like, oh, that's cheating. It's really not. A lot of people on Bookstagram do it because they want their photos to get out there, especially when they're a smaller Bookstagram account. Another thing you should do, tag authors, okay? Like if you are posting a great review on a book, tag the author. The author loves that, by the way. It shows up on their tagged photos, so when people follow an author, they can see those photos they were tagged in, so they could find your photos, you know? Authors also sometimes will, you know, share your photo to their story so their following sees it, you know, as well. And if you create a good enough relationship with an author on Instagram, like, yes, it takes a long time to do that, but you might be able to become one of the author's ARC readers or beta readers. So I'm an ARC reader myself. In case you don't know what ARCs are, they're advanced readers copies. Basically, you get a book before it comes out, before it is released. You get to read and review and promote that book. So for a lot of Bookstagrammers, that is like the most amazing thing. You're getting books before they are released to the world. You know, I always wondered how people read ARCs before I was a Bookstagrammer. I was like, how do people get ARCs? How do you read them? Like, I would love to get sent free books, you know, by authors I like. Well, Bookstagram is a great way to do that. And especially once you hit a certain amount of following. I think I got my first ARC when I was about 600 followers in. That's when I got my first ARC. I was sent a DM by an author to join a page that gives out ARCs. You know, there are a lot of like PR teams, like small book PR teams that want Bookstagrammers or book bloggers to join their profiles, their Facebook pages and their Instagram pages, so that they can send you books, because they want, you know, their whole goal is to help the author they are working with to promote their book. That's basically what they're doing, and they want Bookstagrammers. So feel free to find these groups. There's like Social Butterfly PR, there's Give Me Books PR that does stuff, and also authors will find you and send you links to their ARC readers, you know, accounts. They're like, join, like, share, I want you to share my book with the people on your page, and they will send you ARCs. Feel free to do that when an author sends you something. Obviously, there are just random people who send you links. Yeah, that's a problem. I get just like random people sending me links, and obviously don't click on the link. Look at their account, see if they are legit, you know, look them up on Google, and if they are a legitimate author, that link is safe. Like, I haven't had a problem. If I am getting like a message with a bunch of typos, like, click this link for my book, I'm like, no, don't do it. But once you get one ARC from one author, you start getting a lot more. You start realizing how to get ARCs and what to do with ARCs. Obviously, if you are an ARC reader, you have to keep up with it because you are given a lot of deadlines, okay? It's a lot of reading, so much reading, but it's worth it, especially as you get bigger and bigger. Your ARC packages, you know, right now I tend to get Kindle reads, but the bigger of a Bookstagrammer you get, the more likely bigger authors are going to contact you. They're going to send you physical copies. They might send you book swag as well. So that is something to keep in mind. So always feel free to grow your following. You can also always, once you feel like you have enough backing, obviously if you have only 100 followers, like, I hate to sound, this isn't mean, but if you DM an author and you're like, especially if it's a big author, you know, that already has a solid following and you're like, send me your books. They're not going to. You're too small. That type of exposure is not enough for them. But once you get bigger, you know, you have a decent following, maybe you know indie authors, self-published authors, and you're like, hey, I want to work with you. Feel free to do that, you know? Like, I follow individual author pages, authors I really like, and indie authors, and she's like, hey, if you're a Bookstagrammer, I want you to sign up to be on my ARC team. And I'm like, I love this author. I'm a Bookstagrammer, you know? So I signed up and I'm now a part of her ARC team. Like, I get sent her books. They're ebooks. Again, she is an indie author, so she can't necessarily afford to send physical copies, but if you have big traditional published authors, they are more likely to send you traditional copies once you get on their PR and ARC roll. But really, the biggest thing it comes down to, if you want to be a Bookstagrammer, you want to grow your account, maybe you want to be an ARC reader, all I have to tell you is interact. Make an account, just do it. Just go for it, do it. If nothing comes out of it, fine. That's totally fine. You know, it's a process. It takes a while. It's not going to be instantaneous. Some accounts will start after you and they will blow up a lot faster. You know, it's all based on the Instagram algorithm. Like, I hate to say it, but if you work at it, if you interact with other people, if you are consistent, you will make an amazing Bookstagram account. And do it for yourself. First and foremost, always do it for yourself. If you love books and you want to be able to talk about them with people, make a Bookstagram account. It's the easiest way to do it. And if you grow, if you blow up, if you become a big Bookstagrammer and you are able to make it like a side job, then do it. Like, it's, no matter what happens, it's great to have. It's a way for you to express something that you enjoy, you know, talk about books with others in a community that you want to be a part of. So that's what I really have to say about growing your Bookstagram account. That is the easiest way to do it. Anyway, I hope this video finds you well and I hope it works for you. I hope this was helpful and that you got some tips out of it, and I hope it encouraged you to go out and start a Bookstagram. Okay, if you see this and you have a Bookstagram account, please comment below. I would love to follow you, especially if you're new and small. I will be one of your first followers, guarantee it. Comment your Instagram handle down below and feel free to follow me on Bookstagram. My account, as I said, is Books2Anna. I do plan on doing some giveaways following this video. Once it goes up, I want to do a YouTube video giveaway. So follow my Instagram to see when that comes up. Also, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube as well, as I will be doing more Bookstagram type of videos about, you know, books and how to help your account. Anyway, have a wonderful day.